I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
The carbon cycle of the planet. Let's continue with the calls. I'm going to get into the First Amendment attack, a bunch of other news, and Paul Watson's got big breaking news coming up. Who's up next here? John in Texas. You're on the air, John.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, John.
Hey, the way things are going in Pakistan, where the Taliban supposedly is taking over slowly, almost seems like they're getting us set up to set a nuke off in this country and then blame it on the Taliban, and then they can launch an all-out war across the Middle East and create a police state totally in our country right here overnight.
Yeah, I've been saying for the last 6 months that I see Pakistan being where they want to start a new war, that I see Georgia as a place to start another one, which they almost did last week, and that I would see a biological event, whether a hoax or a real event, and I predicted that March 5th in detail a few months ago, and it could be in concert with a nuke going off. They've got a vicious set of cards in their hand, and any one of the cards is devastating to liberty and centralizes power and control for them. But I see them playing of 5 or 6 big cards they've got. They could play the entire fist full of cards. Go ahead.
Well, the swine flu deal was obviously a bio attack. I don't know why it seemed like it petered out when it got here. I don't know what their motive was for it, if they meant it to be just a mediocre flu virus, or if it was just something like a dud firecracker when it got here. I was going to ask you about that. What do you think why they launched this?
It was a tracker test to test how the engineered virus spread, clearly engineered. Even top virologists in Russia and the UK and Canada are on major papers saying that. People can search engine if they want. Search virus made in the lab, click news, it should come up. But let me answer that briefly when we come back. Let's talk to Ray. I said I'd answer that last caller's question, and then I'll go to Ray in Colorado, Rod, and others. Look, it's clearly a engineered virus. We've gone over all the reasons why. It's clearly meant to track the spread of the virus. We've talked to virologists, and after we reported this, I make the point that we're not making this stuff up. It later comes out in the media. They're saying it could be the perfect virus, the way it's designed to combine with new DNA, RNA, to be technical, strands that would then infect humans more readily and be even more deadly. And it's its spread rate that was so frightening to people. And now the World Health Organization is saying 2 billion people have been infected with it. So a lot of fear-mongering there. And, hey, if the news comes out, even when they're crying wolf and says, ABC News, missiles have been fired from Russia, we'll let you know in the next 5 minutes what's happened, as they did in 2000, we're going to cover it and say, well, probably just fear-mongering psyop, but it's our responsibility to tell you these globalists are mass killers, and so we're going to discuss it. And it's the same thing when they come out and say this could kill tens of millions, greatest threat humanity's faced in 90 years, forced inoculation, martial law may be needed. We went on air and said probably a hoax, probably a beta test, but they could do it for real, folks. Just like when Air Force One flew to the middle of Manhattan during all of that, clearly trying to connect somehow 9/11 to bird flu and swine flu in people's minds. It was clearly done to create some type of panic, to try to reinvoke fears. And I said there's no way the feds didn't know about that. There's no way they didn't know that would cause a panic. And then it came out. They knew it would cause a panic and said it's secret, don't tell the public. And then they said it was a photo op, but they won't release the photos when they could have photoshopped it. Charlie Sheen called me up to make that point. I hadn't thought of that. He goes, Alex, they could have just photoshopped that. This is some psyop. I said, I agree with you, buddy. What a weird world. Just don't want to give credit to where that point came from. All right, let's go back to the calls here. Let's talk to Ray in Colorado. Ray, go ahead.
Hi, Alex. How are you today?
I'm really doing great, Ray.
I was going to say, I'm not sure it's the verse you want, but it's in 2 Timothy chapter 3. You might want to look that chapter up for all your descriptions of evil men and imposters. But I just wanted to talk about...
Well, read it to us, and then I'll hold you over. But do you have the passage in front of us?
Well, I'll just do, it's kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of stuff, but I'll just do real fast. It says, but realize this, in the last days difficult times will come, for men will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, irreconcilable, malicious gossips, without self-control, brutal, haters of good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, and then go down, evil men, and impostors will proceed from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived. And to me, that is the dark spirit that permeates all this worldwide destruction. And
yes, I know those passages, and I think they're the most powerful in the Bible. And
yes.
There's another one that was there after their father, the devil, the father of lies. But there's another one that they love death. And they do. They love death. And I'm just in love with life because they're so jealous and envious of anybody's strength. I mean, so many old folks in the past, reading history and talking to people, would revel in young people and love the youth and love the future. Now a lot of old folks hate the young, hate their energy. The young hate the old and see them as ugly and bad and not having wisdom. And it's just and this idea that children are bad and when they're the greatest gift ever. I mean, and then people are totally unhappy because evil does not fulfill you. It only makes you hunger more and more when goodness literally feeds the soul. And I'm sorry for those that have never experienced it. When they laugh at us, all these unhappy atheists and psychologists and psychiatrists that are all out there talking about how horrible their lives are and their incredible rates of suicide, they're not fulfilled because they don't realize the wonderment of what it is to be alive. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Alex, and I could make lots of points like everyone else, but I had just read today, I was just going to call and talk about the Nazi thing that I've been reading about, and here I hear Paul Watson's going to talk about it later, so I won't belabor that. But I just read
No, stay there. We'll talk about who founded Bilderberg Group when we come back to you after this break, and then I'm going to be good. We're going to hurry through your calls from Ray to Rob to Sean to Randy and Ryan. A lot of R's. R, looking down the list there. All right, this is the one, the only GCN Radio Network, prisonplanet.tv. Check it out today. It's a new kind of tyranny, a new kind of war run by psychiatrists and psychologists and sociologists as they track and trace our every move, our activities, as they gauge our responses, as they drug our water supplies, spray our skies, fill our food full of poisons, as they try to intoxicate the world on entertainment, over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs, and illegal drugs, like Aztec priests forcing narcotic drinks down the throat of the sacrifice victims so they won't resist. That is what's happening right now. Oh, yeah, they get you drunk as a skunk, or they took you up to the chopping block so you wouldn't flail. They did the same thing in the camps in Germany and the camps in Russia with the sodium fluoride in the water. Historical fact. The public would have to face the horror of who's in control, so they deny. And then that allows the evil to continue and grow and win. Because the cowards believe that by denying reality, they're safe. Instead of facing, they really are monsters. We've met them. And it's our own species. An aberrant group within our own species, engaging in predatory activity against the rest of the species, and in the process losing their own souls. Going back to Ray and then Rod and others. Ray, you were trying to make a point, but I kept interrupting. Go ahead.
That's all right. I was just going to remind you that when G20...
Do you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.